Hi everyone, this is Eugene Liscio, and today I'd like to show you a little bit about our official release of Clouds2Max today, and I'm quite excited about it. I think it's a great little plugin for bringing in point clouds into 3ds Max, and it's actually quite simple to use. So I want to start off by showing you a point cloud here that is a relatively decent size. It's about 88 million points, and the point cloud size is really dependent on your hardware. So I have right now, I'm actually using a laptop. It's an i7 chip. I have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I have an NVIDIA video card that's 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. So bringing in the 88 million points is actually not too bad. If you have a faster machine with more RAM and stuff, it should actually load better and perform better than what we have on screen here. Now, I'll walk you through the process of just loading up from scratch. So in terms of what we can load up, we have ASCII, text file, PTS, PTCB, and so there's a number of options there. Now, what I've done is I have got this crushed car here that I'm going to load up, and originally this was, I believe, a text file or a PTS file, not exactly sure right now, but what we've done is we've given you an option to resave these out as an optimized file under the extension of C2M. So if you do that, you'll find that the performance is actually a little bit better. It builds normals in the file and just optimizes the whole thing. So you can see here that I've got the file loaded. It's a smaller file. It's 13.24 million. And moving down the list here, we've got this toggle viewport text. So in another video, I was showing that you can render from the viewport, and it's actually quite fast to do that, and it looks really good. So if we hit the toggle button, the text up here will disappear once you refresh the screen. So I'm just going to hit the Alt-W key just to go to the quad view and back to the single view, and you'll see that the text is gone. Now the menus are actually still there, so if I click over in these areas, you see I still have access to the menus, but just the text is not showing. So when you're going to render this out, it shouldn't be a problem. You'll have a nice clean viewport. Now if I do want that back, I can just click and it comes back. So you need to refresh when you shut it off often, but normally you don't have to refresh when you're turning it back on. Okay, so further down the list here, you'll see in the rendering section there are a number of settings here. There's actually 4 of them with respect to how the point cloud is going to appear. So I'm not going to go through each one of these, but basically it's documented in our reference document. But you can do things like if I take the global details and I turn them down to something really small, you'll see that we get less and less points to show up. Also, your things like the maximum point size. If I turn this up to like 5, you'll see that the points increase in size. And so there's some like level of detail features built in here, but if you go through the reference document, you'll see them here. Now the skip each nth point, this here is useful when you have very large point clouds and you really don't need all the points in there. So if we had a point cloud that was 500 million points and we just wanted to work with 100 million points, we could just put a number of 5 and then load the file. Now, an important point here is that this will only work when you're either first loading files of PTS, ASCII, or text. Once you've converted a file to C2M format, you can't actually use this feature anymore. You'd have to go back, load the file at the point density you wanted, and then save it back out as C2M. But if you're using PTS or a file that hasn't been converted, you can load it up this way. Now, if you load it up and you want to change it, you want a lighter or less points, you can set this number to a new number, but then you'd have to hit reload, and that's really basically how that works. Now, under the About, we have some information here about our website, online documentation, and such. So that's standard in a lot of different software. So 2 features that I think I'd like to show you. The first one under the helpers menu, if you go down to the bottom of Clouds2Max, we have a limit box, and the limit box is useful, as a lot of people know, just for clipping and cutting off different parts of the point cloud that we may not want visible at any one time. So you can scale this, and you can see it's very, very fluid. The limit box works really well. A lot of different for all axes. Now the limit box can also be animated. So if you wanted to do something where you want to have some kind of effect, like a building up from the bottom, you could do that. You could start from the bottom and then have it slowly come up and then start showing the points as it builds. So kind of a neat little feature. I'm going to delete that. The other option that I think that is quite useful is under the Snaps menu here. Actually, if I right-click it, you'll see that we have an option for Clouds2Max. So it will now snap to points on the point cloud. I found that this works best when the other features are not checked. So if you have a mix of meshes and point clouds, and they're sort of laying over top of each other, you're going to want to shut off everything else except for the Clouds2Max so it doesn't snap unnecessarily to other things. And here, for example, if I wanted to create a line on the ground plane, I could just sort of click away here. I don't know, something like that. And if I lift that up, actually I'm going to shut off the toggles, lift that up, and you'll see that the line was created on a flat surface as such. So that's a useful feature for modeling and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's relatively easy to use. If you can, go to the Clouds2Max website, send us your screenshots, post on the laser scanning forum. We'd love to see the kind of work that you're doing with this. Thank you very much.